That showcase definitely wasn't something good for me. Okay, I know what that means. So, hello everybody, I am Go Senpai, and this is Splatoon 2 Hero Mode any percent. And before we start with the run, which character won the bid war?
Pink Girl won by $126.
Alright, looks like the people who are watching and making money for this marathon have a very good taste because England Girl rocks. So. Let's prepare everything for the run, so which color looks better for the eyes that match with the background? I think I'm gonna go for this one. I'm gonna be having a good amount of time to talk about what do you think? I'm gonna be having a good amount of time to talk about this during my run, so I shouldn't be so worried about this. I just need to do something. So I forgot to open my splits because I have been running this game for almost 2 years and I used to forget the route and I have the route of my splits. Okay, so assuming that everything is ready to start, I'm gonna make the countdown from 3. So, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so, right. What happened here? Okay, it looks like we're fine. Sorry if I dropped some frames, the internet connection hasn't been so good with and early in the morning, so I hope that this is not gonna be a big problem for us. I'm gonna start again. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this is Splatoon 2, obviously a sequel from the 2015 Wii U game Splatoon. And the first thing we're gonna have here is an tutorial that's gonna show to us how to play with the gyroscope. That's something I'm gonna deactivate mostly for personal preference, and unfortunately we cannot skip this tutorial directly. But at the same time, we have well, Nintendo. Looks like Nintendo was thinking a bit about speedrunners because there's a little skip here that's gonna save like 1 minute to us because as I said before, unfortunately we cannot quit this. We cannot quit this tutorial. That it's just telling to us how to play and all that kind of things. The first game also has a similar tutorial, but I want to assume that the reason why Splatoon 2 has also a tutorial that shows to us the basic controls of the game is because, as we know, unfortunately the Wii U hasn't sold very well, so there was a big possibility that probably people who haven't played the first Splatoon game decide to give it a try to Splatoon 2 on the Switch. Because with the first game that the Switch got after its release, Splatoon 2 was one of the games that wasn't a port from another system or something like that. So instead of having a port of Splatoon called Splatoon Deluxe, I'm really glad when Nintendo that they decided to make a sequel for this amazing title. I mean, Splatoon 1 is an amazing game, but definitely Splatoon 2 it's definitely better in many aspects. Definitely Nintendo make a very good work. So here now we're gonna get introduced into a section where we're gonna be matching the A button for like 3 minutes. Um, here we have Pearl and Marina, which are the idols from the second game. On the first game we got the Squid Sisters, Kelly and Mari, and now we have this duo called Cephalopop. These girls on the game are gonna talk about the news on the city. Usually they talk about the stages that we have available on the online mode, but since we're gonna be doing a round game on a profile that doesn't have a save file, this is something that happens all the time when you start the game for the first ever time on your console and or a new profile. So they're gonna talk about to us about the plot of the history of this game. That the Great Sapfish has disappeared again, and like in the first title. And this big thing is the electricity supply from the Octolings, which are of the Inklings, which are the main characters of the game, the good guys, as we can say. And well, it looks like the Octolings has kidnapped again the big sapfish, the sapfish. So our duty is to rescue it because now, well, after we got the bad news that the great sapfish has disappeared, looks like Mary, one of the Squid Sisters, has called for our help. And because we're a new inkling in the town and the city, that it's supposed that something caught our attention that makes that we went to look what happened or why or well, who was that mysterious girl at the background? Well, on the background of Inkopolis, which is the main city of the Inklings. So basically the hero mode is the history mode of the game, the main history mode, because 2018, a year after the release of the game, there was a DLC for the game called the Octo Expansion that shows to us an alternative history involving the Cephalopod, and also we can play as an Octoling. But in this game, we're gonna be playing as an Inkling, or depending on which character you choose when you start the game, even a boy or a girl. In this case, we're playing with a girl because she's cute and because she won the bid war. So, thanks again for the donations again, and sorry if I forgot to say thank you for the donations for this incentive. So basically, on the history, well, Mari tells to us that she have seen us on Inkopolis, so she thought that probably we were gonna be good people that we can help her, because she wanna rescue the great sapfish before something really bad happens on Inkopolis, because as I said before, the great sapfish is the electricity supply from these people, so probably they're gonna run into a shortage of electricity. We don't act really quick, and also she had told to us that probably, well, that she cannot do this by herself because, well, she simply cannot do that, so she have asked for our help, and now we are the Agent 4. Because in the first game, our character on the history mode, it's called the Agent 3. Because, spoiler alert, it's supposed that from the Squid Sisters, Callie is the Agent 1 and Mary is the Agent 2. And the Captain Japfish is the... well, it's a captain that, in this case, well, you understand. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting what I need to say, but talking with Boix, I told him I'm really sure that I'm gonna forget what I'm gonna say, because it has been a long time since I have run this game in a marathon, and he said, don't worry, just have fun and try to play, so... I was thinking about that, and I say, okay, it's not gonna be a big deal that I'm gonna be playing this game for 2 hours and 15 minutes without saying nothing, and then I have remembered, okay, you're doing a marathon run, you need to find something to say. And in considering some limitations that I'm gonna be having when I'm trying to talk, I need to try to do my best to try to explain what is the deepest plot of the game. So basically, that's the history of the game. We're a new inkling in the town, we're gonna be the Agent 4, and we're gonna be helping to rescue the great sapfish. And basically that's everything. Or at least for now. Or at least that's what does the game wanna make that we think that it's the plot of the game. I don't know what's gonna happen, we're gonna be watching that later. So as you have seen, just in case that you live under a rock or you are not a fan of Nintendo games, if that's the case, which is the reason you're here? If you're here because you're enjoying the marathon, that's something good about. So I really hope that you can enjoy this game as much as I have enjoyed it. Definitely because, well, this game was the reason why I have decided to buy a Switch in 2017. And I haven't bought any other game until 2019, so I just used my Switch to play Splatoon 2, and I really like so much the game that I decided to learn it. So in this history mode, or well, this hero mode, where we play as an Inkling, we're gonna be playing on 5 worlds. This is the first world, and it's the shortest one from all of them. So here, we're gonna have just 3 basic levels, where we're gonna learn also some basic stuff about how we're gonna complete these stages. We're gonna start to meet some of the enemies, some of the obstacles, and also we're gonna put on practice what it's supposed that we have learned on the tutorial of the game, such as painting everywhere where you can, and started to swim on the ink. That, well, that's gonna be something really common we're gonna be watching, because that's the fastest way that we're gonna have to keep moving around the game. And there we go. That's just some basic stuff. Also, we learned to how to use these special weapons that I'm gonna be catching on these things that looks like tunas. I don't know. And okay, it's not supposed that I should have fall down here, and I remember how to go up against that. Okay, I have another way to go. Okay, this is gonna be the first moment we're gonna lose some time here in the run. Nice. We're starting very well, and I have practiced this game, and I don't know that I really cannot believe that I'm having such a big mistake like this at the beginning of the run. But well, I just hope that something good can happen later, because definitely this wasn't something good. But we're starting with the run, we're still having a lot of things that we're gonna be watching, so we should be fine about this. Also, probably you have noticed that on the first stage that I have played was stage 2, and now the second stage that I have played is stage 3. So here on these worlds, what I need to do, just in case you haven't noticed it, I need to find where those stages are hidden. So I need to paint them to discover them, and then I just need to enter to the stages. And I'm gonna go through specific routes, because that's gonna be the fastest way that I can move in the map in order to enter to the stages. Because as you have seen, some stages are more closer to other ones, and well, on this zone, this first stage was the closest one, but the reason why I played this, oh, okay, the game decided to drop my jumping inputs. So the reason why I have decided to do first the other stages and make that the last stage of this world was the first stage of the game was because close to this stage we can find the boss stage, so we can save some few seconds while we're moving. So what I'm gonna be doing on these stages is a kind of mixing between shooting to the enemies or sometimes using some bombs to distract them. So in this case, for example, if I throw a bomb there, I'm gonna destroy some of the boxes that I'm gonna help to me to reduce some time. And with this, I can get more closer to these enemies that I need to paint them. And also, as you have seen at the beginning of the stage, or well, they're gonna be watching also on a bit, the bombs can be used to distract the enemies and attack them by behind, because some of them have some kind of shields that can make that we can lose some time trying to destroying that shield. So the bombs can be good also to distract some enemies. And that's a technique that I'm gonna be doing in some stages and also with some specific enemies. For example, at the end of this section, I'm gonna be using the bomb as a distraction, because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to defeat this enemy that has a shield that it's covering. It's covering to this guy. So if I throw the bomb here, the enemy is gonna move back, and his back is gonna be free, so I can shoot to his back end. I can keep going through the stage. So basically, you have seen this is a third-person shooter game, but instead of bullets, we have ink, and we're gonna be painting everything. So basically, that's gonna be the way that we're gonna be moving. These are the mechanics of the game. Talking about the gameplay in general. So in these stages, what I need to do is that I'm gonna be rescuing some sapfishes that are like the great sapfish or smaller, that also were kidnapped by the octolings, and this can help also to get some electricity also. So in this case, since I have completed the first 3 stages, well, all the stages of this first world, and I have got all the 3 sapfishes, I'm gonna be able to go directly now with the first boss, which is the Octo Oven, and it's gonna be a stage where basically we're gonna start to watch some speedrunning strats as this game has. Also, something that you're probably noticing in the game is that the game is not on English. I have the game in Spanish for some reason. Well, for 2 reasons. First of all, well, before I say them, what I'm gonna be doing here, it's a speed strat. So each time that I start a boss stage, what I'm gonna do is that once I land on the section where the boss is, I'm gonna reset the stage. The reason why I'm gonna do this is because at the beginning of the stage there's gonna be a cutscene that we cannot skip normally, but once we land on the zone where the boss is, or well, where the zone is gonna spawn, if I reset the game, what is gonna happen is that the game is gonna detect that, like if we have seen, like if we have watched already the cutscene, so we just can skip it and save some seconds. So this can be considered as the first speed strat that we're gonna be watching during the game. And there's another interesting later on the stage, because each boss has well, each of these bosses that we're gonna be watching has 3 phases. So this was the first phase, so now we have some ink rollers during this stage, and now we have less sections in the october to keep painting it, and well, it's supposed that we need to climb and destroy the... Well, and we need to climb and shoot to the big tentacle that is outside of the oven in order to defeat it. And now we're gonna enter directly into the third phase of this boss, and I'm gonna be doing some damage boosting, because if you receive damage with some well, when you receive some shootings with the ink of the enemies, you don't die directly, but it's bad in the way that you move slower, and also if you hide on the ink, the enemies are gonna be watching you, so you need to be so careful. So what I have done here is that, receiving some damage here, I have skipped entirely a cycle on the boss, where it's supposed that it's gonna try to attack to us, and it's gonna be spinning around itself. So if I receive damage, that thing doesn't happen, and we can save some seconds. So now that everything has happened, I just climb again, I shoot again the tentacle, and against the tentacle, and there we go. This was the first boss defeated. So now we need to save another sapfish that was kidnapped by this by this boss, and we're gonna be able to move to the next stage. And also, what I was saying about the language before, it's that I have the game in Spanish for 2 reasons. The first of all is because my main language is Spanish, so I have my console in Spanish. And the second is because Spanish is slightly faster. I think that it's between 3 to 4, like 2 or 3 seconds, I don't know, between 2 to 5 seconds, I don't remember exactly, because Spanish has less text boxes than English. Also, French is a good language to play this game, because it has like the same amount of text boxes like Spanish, and also depending of the version of the game or the region where we got the game are gonna be the languages that we're gonna be able to play this. So here on the second world, what I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be opening some stages. So I need to put some attention here. This wasn't a big spot. This is bad. I don't know why I used to have this kind of bad luck when I run this game in a marathon. But what I'm gonna be doing on this second world is that I'm gonna be opening some stages, and I'm gonna use the pause menu in order to move to them. So here first I'm gonna open both stages 4 and 5. And I thought that I haven't aimed correctly to open the stage 5. So once I have opened both of these stages, I'm gonna go back to stage 4, and this is gonna be the first stage I'm gonna be playing here. And something cool about the history mode of Splatoon 2, comparing this with the first game, is that on the first game we just use the the hero shot, which is the default weapon of the game. But now in Splatoon 2, in history mode, we are forced to use each kind of weapon that the game has. Something good about this is that obviously you can give it a try to each weapon, and for online mode this is gonna be so helpful because you can find your kind of weapon on the game. So first we have here the roller, one of the most controversial weapons in the game, because basically you can kill easily people with the roll. So usually people used to say, including myself, that if you play with a blaster or with a roller, that's a signal you don't play, you don't know how to play the game. But at the same time, it's really cool to use the roller, because as we have seen, it's more easier to defeat enemies due to the amount of ink that this drops each time that we use it to attack or to paint. But also at the same time, obviously this kind of weapon and makes that your ink gets empty. Your ink meter gets empty really quick. So also you need to deal and learn. Well, you need to learn to deal with that kind of things. So the way that I'm gonna be refilling my ink is that I'm gonna be swimming, or well, I'm gonna keep hiding on my ink. So this is gonna help to me to refill my ink more quickly than just keep standing up. So here it doesn't matter if I receive damage. I was having a shield, so I can get some time receiving some damage. Because also you can get some shields in the game, and occasionally I'm gonna try to do that, or if I'm close to a checkpoint I'm gonna receive sometimes damage on propose. That it's not gonna be bad at all, because if you reach a checkpoint and you have received damage without having a shield, your shield gets fixed instantly. You don't need to wait until I forgot the roll again. Oh my goodness, I don't remember when was the last time that I talked about this game. But well, your armor gets fixed after some seconds since you have received damage. So here, for example, Sheldon, the guy who is lending us these weapons, on Spanish and French, this guy has 3 text boxes, while in English this guy has 5. So so that this translates that into that each new weapon that we unlock, we're gonna have more text boxes if we play the game in English. So now we have the duelist, and this was my favorite weapon for a good amount of time in the game, and this was also one of the new kind of weapons that were introduced in this game. So as we have seen, we can see also, depending on the stage and the weapon that we use, or well, the weapon that we're going to be forced to use, the stages are adapt to use this kind of weapons. So with this we can get used to them and we can understand how do they work. So I consider that something really good about this. So the good thing about the duelist is that if I keep shooting and then I decide to press the jumping button, I'm gonna be moving a bit quicker when I'm on the floor, or also when I'm on the air like this. But personally I don't like to do that when I'm on the rails, because I know I'm really worried about how I am, so I would prefer to don't try to do that kind of things. So here we have a little skip here, we paint this wall and we can do this jump to skip all of this section, and also this triggers a dialogue text box with Mari that tells to us that looks like we like the dangerous situations. I don't know which is the text box in English because I have played this on Spanish. I'm just translating what I have seen on the... Well, I'm just translating the Spanish text box that... Also, there are some curious stuff about the translation of the game, because obviously during the localization it's normal that some stuff gets changed and just to make that everything gets more sense, or well, it feels mostly local. or very well localized depending on the region or the language that it's getting translated. And I'm gonna be explaining that later on the game, later on the run, some specific text boxes that are pretty interesting for me, talking about the difference between them and depending also of the language you play the game. So I was saying that depending of the region of the game, or well, the region of where have you bugged the game, is gonna be the languages that you're gonna have. In my situation, this is an American copy, so I just have Latin, Spanish, English, and French. So here now I'm gonna be opening 2 stages, but this is gonna be something different, because here I'm gonna open stage number 7, and then I'm gonna use the game menu to move to this place, but I'm not gonna enter to the stage. I'm gonna open stage 6, which is hiding here at the top, and then I'm gonna use the menu to move to the stage 9. That was the stage that I have unlocked once I have completed stage 4. So this is gonna be a technique that we're gonna be watching on the rest of the worlds. That's gonna help to us a little. Well, it's gonna help to us save a little more time. And now I'm gonna get introduced. Well, we're gonna get here the introduction of the Octolings. So these are a bit of different stages, talking about the mechanics, because here we're gonna have these mini sap fishes, and there are a total of 8 on each stage. So what's gonna happen here is that I need to rescue all of them, and these guys are little, but with 8 of them you can get the same amount of energy like a regular sapfish. So as you have noticed also, the fastest way to get this, well, to save these sapfishes is to throw a bomb. So also, as you can see on my ink meter, I need to have a specific amount of ink in order to open these things. So sometimes I'm gonna be trying to find some specific spots where I don't just receive attack, or where I can keep keep safe and I can hide from the enemies, and the enemies are not gonna watch it. Are not gonna see me, and with this I can refill more quicker my health. So now that I have completed stage 9, let's move to stage 8, and this is the only stage that I haven't locked yet, but since this is close to stage 9, I just need to open it, and there we go. I don't need to switch to any other stage. So here, something I forgot to mention is that starting on the second world, you're gonna be forced to use some weapons in some stages, but there are gonna be some few stages, such as the, well, in this case, the Octoling stages, where I can use any weapon that I want, so depending on the stage is gonna be also the weapon I'm gonna be switching for. So for this first Octoling stage, I use the Duelist because it's more faster, it's more quicker to play this. So now I have to receive damage, and this is gonna be bad. Okay. It's gonna be fixed a bit, okay. So now here in stage 8, I'm gonna be using again the Hero Shot. And if you're wondering what am I using these weapons and who is that, the weird guy who is giving me these weapons? Well, his name is Sheldon, and since the first Splatoon game, he is the guy who sells to us the weapons that we can use on the online / multiplayer modes of the game. So here, when we have completed the first world, Mary talks with him in order to see if he can help to us. So in order to receive some help, he's gonna lend to us some weapons that are like on a kind of beta testing, because the weapons are in development, and suppose that we're gonna be using them, and the data that gets registered about the way that we use it and all that kind of things are gonna help to develop the final commercial version of the weapon. So for now, it's supposed that Sheldon is lending to us these weapons while while we use them in order that he can get some data that he requires to develop the final version. It's gonna be the commercial version of the weapons that obviously we can use on the online mode. now it's time to go back to stage number 6, and probably, uh, personally talking, the first stage that we're probably gonna have some issues here. We're gonna be using a kind of sniper weapon here, and this is not my best weapon in the game. So usually, sometimes what I try to do is to play as safely as I can, but it's not like a big deal this stage anyways. So what happens when you die or when you receive damage, once you have received damage and your armor hasn't recovered on its normal state? Well, what happens here, okay, it doesn't matter, I have received damage, it's fine. So what happens here is that if I receive damage again, or if I fall down and I die, I have like something like 3 lives per stage. We can see that on the HUD at the top left of the screen. So what happens here is that if I receive damage, obviously I lose 1 of these lives, but if I, for example, if I have died here and I reach a checkpoint and I just have 2 lives, I'm gonna get 1 extra life and I'm gonna be back on 3. So that's not like a big deal, at least not for now. In these first stages there are not so many problems, but just in case that something goes terribly bad, I guess that I'm gonna be trying to play a bit safely. So here I'm gonna receive some damage, but it's gonna be fine. Okay, I haven't received damage, so I'm surprised about this. And well, thanks to some weapons like this one, I can do some little skips here. So I just aim to this thing and I jump and I shoot to it, instead of doing the regular way that it's turning around up this place and then reach this high spot, and it's gonna be. So with something simple like that, shouldn't be having any big problem with this. And now I have catch here a special weapon, and what I have said with these special weapons is that I'm not gonna use them a lot on the game because they're slow, but if I use it here, I can skip all of this section, saving like between 20 to 30 seconds. I don't remember exactly the exact amount of time. So this is the complicated section that I am glad that I was able to do it really quick. Because what have you seen about what I have done to reach this spot and save this sapfish is not something easy, mostly considering that I'm playing with just with the analog stick, so this makes that everything gets a bit complicated. And now I'm gonna go back to the first world because I need to buy some special bombs. So here the way that we're gonna be getting more kind of bombs, and we're gonna be leveling up our weapons to make them more powerful, is with this thing that that instead of using money, this uses some eggs and some anchovies that we're gonna be getting in all the game. So that kind of orange circles slash eggs are those eggs that I'm talking about. And talking about the sardiniums or anchovies, whatever you want to call it, the official name is sardinium, but in Spanish those are called anchovies. So with that things, we can get more bombs and make our weapons more powerful. So the way that we get the sardiniums is that every time that we defeat a boss, we're gonna get a sardinium. And also, if we look in the stages, we're gonna be finding some of them that are hiding. Okay, this is bad. Okay, I was saved for a minute. Something curious about here, as you have seen, when I fall down close to that enemy, Mori has told to us, no, on a very dramatic way. Something curious is that on the English and French translations, that's not there. There's any dramatic scream by Mori in that section. That's a good signal that probably, I don't know, in Latin America we're a bit dramatic. I don't know. But I really like to mention that sometimes the translations of the games are a bit curious. So going back in the stage, with this enemy specifically, what this is gonna make is that it's gonna look for some ink and it's gonna try to clean it. So I'm gonna be trying to shoot my own ink in order to make that this guy cleans our mess instead of going for the enemy's ink, and that was a very bad jump because I have received damage. And I'm gonna receive damage again. Okay, definitely this is not something good, but it's not something that I should be worried about. My PB on this game is 2 hours and 4 minutes and 21 seconds, and as you have seen, my estimate is about 2 hours and 50 minutes, so we have a plenty of amount of time for this kind of music, so I shouldn't be so worried about. So I just need to keep going to the stage. I don't think I'm gonna have something interesting to say in a little bit, but also we're closer to the end of the stage, so I shouldn't be so worried about. I shouldn't be so worried about this thing. It's really good. So here, suppose that I need to take that rail, but it's slow, so it's better just to keep walking here and keep going with this. So the bombs that I have unlocked are the curling bombs, and as I've said before, and also you have seen, the fastest way to move on the game is just swimming in our ink, or in the ink of our same color, and also depending on the game is the color of the ink that we have. So with this, this is gonna be the fastest way that we're gonna have to move. So with the curling bombs you have seen, we have a line. We can have a line of our own ink that can help to us swim on our own ink, or also to make that this little enemy tries to clean our ink and can help to reach the place that we want to reach here in the game. So now with this, I have saved all of the 5 of these little sapfishes that we have in the game. And now it's time to go and face the Octus Samurai, which we are gonna be forced to use the. We're gonna be forcing to use the roller here, and also this boss uses a roll, so it has sense for me that we're gonna be forced to play with this. If you're wondering about if there's a possibility to use a different weapon in this stage, yes, there's a possibility, but you need to finish the stage first with the weapon that you are forced to use on the first time. And if you're wondering, okay, so which is the reason that I repeat a stage if I have completed with a different weapon, if I have completed it already? So something to mention about this is that actually on this any person route, we're gonna be completing the game at 100%. But just in case that you were wondering also about that, beating this at 100% doesn't mean that actually we have beaten the game at 100%. And we know that Nintendo developed a weird and most of the time useless smartphone app for some of its games, and one of the few compatible games is Splatoon 2. So if we use the app, we can check our progress in the game, not just check the online status and all that kind of things. We can check our progress in the game, and if we beat the game, we're gonna get 100% of completion of the game. But that doesn't mean that we have completed the game at all, because we need to get all the Sardiniums, we need to gain some scrolls that tells to us some history about well, in this second game, scrolls tells to us the history between the first and second title. And in the first game tells you the origin of the Octolings and how, well, the Inklings and Octolings and how does the battle started. So here on this boss fight, nothing interesting to say, I just need to defeat this guy that is gonna be changing its way to attack to me. So that's like the problem about the speedrunning in this game, that there's not so many things to say on these first bosses. Because they are pretty strict and they are so they don't have so much things to say. So like for example here I'm gonna receive damage because I forgot to move at the correct spot. But if I keep okay, that was my mistake. It's not supposed that that was gonna happen, but what I suppose that I was gonna do is that since I have received damage and I haven't got enough time to attack this guy properly, Okay, I'm gonna wait here in order that my armor gets fixed. Okay. So here is a okay, I forgot that this cycle has been long since I have failed this. So here, well, it's supposed that I should have damaged him in order to make that he started with the cycle where he spins about spins about around itself. So in that case, I get hiding so close to him, so I don't need to try to look for a safer space in order to don't receive damage. So I just get close to him, he spins around him, and I don't receive damage, and at the same time I can refill my Audi. So with this, I have defeated also the second boss of the game. I get another Sardinium, and also I rescue another Sapfish. Getting back to the topic about the competition of the game, once you find all the scrolls and the Sardiniums, also you need to, well, once you have unlocked all the weapons, as you can see every time that I complete a stage, there's like a counter that tells to us, well, that we can see all the weapons that we have, and if we see a shadow on the layer, if we see the shadow of the weapon on the hub, that's a signal that we haven't beaten the stage with that weapon. So in order to get the fully competition of Splatoon 2 Hero Mode, which is 1000%, we need to get all the Sardiniums, all the scrolls, and also we need to beat every stage with every weapon. So if for some reason you don't have money to pay the online service of the Nintendo Switch and you have this game, or well, you buy this game but you're in a place where there's no internet connection, believe me that you're gonna have a good amount of time to complete this game at 1000%. And I have this game and my Switch since December 2017, and up to this date I think that I have like 682% completed on my main save file. And yeah, sometimes when I have nothing to do, I keep going through the easier mode, try to get 1000%. Is that, or also you can get the auto expansion, which is also really good, but I really prefer the hero mode. Usually on speed running, since the Octo expansion was released, the Octo expansion started to gain more popularity because it's mostly a shorter category. It's something good about it. Comparing the world records of the game, for this game for this category, Hero Mode 90%, the world record is 1 hour and 32 minutes. I don't remember how many seconds, and I think that the world record's 1 hour and 7 or 6 minutes. I don't remember exactly, but it's something like that. It's like a between 25 to 30 minutes difference between the hero mode and the Octo expansion world record. So with that you can make an idea about how shorter does the Octo expansion is. So that's the main reason why more people prefers to run the Octo expansion. Probably I'm just the only semi-active hero mode runner of this game, but I really like it. And if somebody hasn't played Splatoon 2, don't feel like you're gonna receive a big spoiler if you watch the run, because this is not like a history that matters a lot. So you shouldn't be worried about that. I really recommend that if somebody has a Switch and doesn't have this game or is planning to buy a Switch, definitely give a try to Splatoon 2. It doesn't matter if you haven't played the first game and you're gonna understand everything easily. There's not so many things to know about the first game. You can look on YouTube for some videos that resumes the history and you're gonna be fine. So here, while I was saying some dumb thing that doesn't have anything interesting to do, what I have done with that enemy that had the key was some kind of manipulation. So while I was on the reel, I have thrown a bomb in order to make that the enemy moves to another position. And then I reach another spot when I throw a bomb, and that was a kind of trap for the enemy, because what I have done is that the enemy went to the position where the bomb was, and here I'm gonna do something similar. So what I'm gonna be doing here, okay, this thing failed unfortunately. What I was gonna do here, okay, I'm gonna just lose a life and I'm gonna start back from the tank point. This is gonna be more faster. So what I'm gonna try to do here is that I'm gonna throw a bomb here in order to make that this enemy come back, and I can shoot it here. because this enemy has another key. So in this stage, as you have seen, some enemies have some keys. That's something we're gonna be watching also in other stages. So instead of going through a gap, big chase on this circuit, it's more easier to try to do that manipulation in order to keep the enemy so closer to you, so in that way you can defeat the enemy more quicker. In this case I was dumped and I haven't defeated this enemy correctly. So here we're gonna have a lot of similar enemies, and how you're gonna guess which is the one that has the key? Well, you just need to go on this way that I'm moving. I'm going into a specific spot because it's gonna make that the enemy that has the key gets on this corner. So this is gonna be more faster, and in order to just try to guess which is the enemy that has the key. So once we complete this little section, we go with the sapfish, and there we go. We have saved the little sapfish. So now I know that you really like to see how many surprises does the game has. Well, now it's time to look for another new weapon. Yes, and if I throw a bomb to this thing, I'm gonna move again. I'm gonna move also. So now I forgot how this weapon was called. So Google-chan, please help me here. I should rename the weapons on my splits with the name in English. Okay, the heavy splatting. It's called the heavy splatting. So this weapon, what I need to do is I need to keep pressing CR, which is the button that I use to shoot. I need to keep it pressing for some few seconds in order to charge the weapon, and then I can release the ink. The good thing about this weapon is that it has a big cadency, so, well, it has a big, sorry if I say that weird word on English, I forget again. Sometimes I forget some words on English. I have promised myself that once this COVID situation finishes, I'm gonna be taking English classes again because I'm forgetting how to speak in English. Because as I've said when I have started with the run, when I was explaining this stuff with the languages, English is not my main language, but I'm trying to do my best to speak it. So if sometimes I get stuck, I hope that you can apologize me. Mostly on a game like this where there's a lot of things that I need to mention, but sometimes my mind don't wanna cope when I'm trying to speak. So the good thing of this weapon, as you have seen, is that it has a good distance with the shooting, and also it can shoot a big amount of ink, but the only problem that this has is that it makes that you move slightly slower. But obviously if you swim in the ink, that's not a problem. It doesn't matter the kind of weapon you have. You move faster when you swim in your ink. So the only problem that this thing has is that you need to charge your weapon in order to shoot. That's the only bad thing, but well, any weapon is perfect. Each weapon has its upside down, so are pretty cool. You just need to find the kind of weapon that you prefer to use more, or if you're gonna run the key remote like me, you need to learn to play with each of them. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's damage here. But I need to be so careful with these machines. I'm really happy that since I have received damage, I haven't been noticed for the other machines, so I was able to skip all of this really quick, even when I have received damage. When I said really quick on that section was because I don't need to take any other alternative route, and with alternative route I was trying to say that I haven't needed to move to the left of the rank. I just need to go straight, and that was gonna be all that I was gonna need in order to move. Yes, if I moved into the left or the right, that was gonna be more slower, because that means that I needed to move more just to avoid these machines. Now we're gonna have another skip that this saves like 30 seconds, because we need to complete another circuit to get on the top of this. But if I just do this, if I aim to this thing and I jump, my ink can reach that spot, and I just can avoid all of this. So now what I need to do is that I need to make that this big guy here notices my ink and comes to clean it here, so I can go on the top of this thing and I can use it as a platform. Hey, my ink is here! Okay, definitely, I don't know what is happening, but I don't know what I'm having this bad luck here. This is definitely bad luck. Okay, good. So I'm on the top of this thing. I need to aim to this other thing, and I need to throw the bomb. Well, I need to refill my ink. I throw the bomb, and I save the selfish. So now this is gonna be something more interesting because here, in order to unlock this is the next stage, I need to use the weapon that I have recently unlocked. And I use the menu to move here, and this is another uploading stage, but instead of using this weapon, I'm gonna go back to use the dualies because the dualies are perfect for this kind of stages. So just in case if you're wondering what this Matt is telling to me is that with the Octolings I need to be so careful with the ones that have that green thing because those are more aggressive. So here also there's no checkpoints at this stages, so if I die I respawn into the... Okay, I need to refill my ink first. I respawn on the beginning of the stage, but this is not a big deal because you have seen the stages are so shorter, so that's something that I shouldn't be so worried about. But if I receive damage and I save a little sapfish, my armor gets fixed really quick, so that's something I shouldn't be so worried about, unless I have a lot of enemies on my way. So sometimes I'm gonna be defeating some of these enemies. I'm not gonna try to catch all of them because that's gonna be translated into losing more time. So instead of that, I just defeat some of them that probably can be a bit annoying while I try to do all of these things. Unfortunately, I have received damage here, so I'm gonna try to keep here a bit safe, or well, not so safe, because probably one of them just was aware that I was gonna receive damage. Definitely, this is not something good. Nice marathon long that I'm having on this run, definitely. But it doesn't matter, I just need to defeat two... Well, I need just to save a couple of sapfishes and we're gonna be fine. So we need to complete like a kind of circuit in order to rescue these little guys. So since these ones were closer to the spawn section of the stage, that this wasn't like a big lose of time on this part, so this was something decent, I should say. So now I'm gonna go to the stage 12, which is a closed. I need to destroy this boss that is gonna unlock a rail. I need to move here. I switch the bombs again. And also, if you're wondering why I decide to throw a bomb in order to opening these stages, is because the bombs obviously have a big amount of ink, so this paints more quickly the entry points for the stages. So here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna swim and then I'm gonna jump in order to keep the speed of the swimming on the air. Because if I jump on these things, my speed is gonna be slower because it's gonna be from where I was walking. But if I was swimming and then I make a jump, I'm gonna keep the speed, so this is gonna be more faster. Unless you're like me and you find something that stopped you for a bit. So here we need to catch the ski that is on the air. That is not supposed that is a big deal, but Ghost is dumb, so Ghost forgot to catch this key. And have lost a couple of seconds trying to get it. Instead of that, I just have got it and I can keep going. And also sometimes we can skip some stuff. If we're quick enough. For example, here in this section I have kept my swimming speed when I was jumping in the air, but a wall was a bit troll and stopped me, so I got my speed reduced. I shouldn't be so worried about that enemy because there's a checkpoint here. And I make a jump here in the air and I go through this specific direction, because with this I can avoid all of these jumping sections, saving a good amount of time and going directly to the warping path that is gonna move me to the last section of this stage. And also, if you're a big Valuethon fan like me and you have watched its recent editions, on the last Valuethon the Oct expansion was showcased, so I consider that it's really good. And on this Valuethon event, we can also show the hero mode. So with this, you can notice the differences on the game, because mostly I like to consider that Oct expansion is mostly like a kind of Mario Party, in the aspect that you need to complete some challenges on the stages in order to complete them. Those are pretty good, are funny, but definitely, while the controls of the game are the same in general, like the regular Splatoon game, usually I really consider that it's something really different, because here, at least on hero mode, we go to like a kind of a specific objective, rescuing the sapfishes. But in Oct expansion, the history is different, because it's supposed that we play as an Octoling, that it's a good Octoling. But I'm not gonna spoil that. If you wanna know what happens on the Oct expansion, you have three options. First option, buy the expansion and the game if you don't have it, and also the control if you don't have it also. Second option, look for a video on YouTube that talks about the history. Or 3, also you can watch, well, once this marathon finishes, you can watch the boss from the past marathon. You can watch an amazing run from that expansion. I haven't made the run, that was made for another run. The run was made for another runner, because I don't run up expansion. It's cool that I was gonna learn it, but I have been a bit lazy, and also have been a bit busy sometimes to learn this, but at the same time it's pretty good that we have got a bottom sides of the history modes of Splatoon to showcased on this Valuethon marathons, which is something really amazing. Okay, what I have done here was something stupid, because on these stages there are some balloons that if I explode, they're gonna release a big amount of ink, and the sponges are gonna grow by a lot. So these sponges are a bit curious, because here if they receive ink from the enemy, they're gonna shrink. So if you wanna make that their size gets bigger, I need to shoot to them. And what the heck happened? Okay, this was a very weird moment. It's supposed that this thing is gonna try to locate us and gonna stomp us, but I don't know why, but for some reason it looks like the game got confused, or I was on I got a false positive thing and this thing trying to stop me. Fortunately, I haven't received damage, so it's not like a big deal. The big deal is here with this enemy, so once I make that sponge big, I need to jump really quick to one. And also we have this bucket, which is very interesting with them. The problem that I find with this is that its shooting range is so small. So this is mostly when you are better attacking anything that is so close to you. And now it's time to move to probably my less favorite stage from this world, because again, we're gonna be using the sniper. Okay, one button. No! Okay, and accidentally happened to enter this stage again. Oh my goodness, so I just can create the stage and we're gonna be fine, but we're gonna be losing more time. But it's good, because this marathon has been being so ahead, so why Why shouldn't we can be a bit behind of the schedule? Let's mess around this with the next runner. That let me check. Who is the next runner? Oh heck, it's me. It's a me, Ghost. Okay, so I guess that well, I just need to be quick if I wanna start really quick the next game. So this is a stage that I don't like so much, not because it's bored or something. It's a pretty good and cool and challenging stage, but uh, usually the stages, personally talking, this is stages where I use the sniper weapon. These are so slow, and also I need to get closer to this in order to activate a cycle. And since I receive damage and I move slow, I have activated the cycle, but I haven't passed on the correct position in order to move and keep going. Something good about this, comparing it with another video games, speedrunning talking mostly, is that the cycles are the same all the time. The cycles are not global, so I shouldn't be worried about this. So here again, we're gonna having some Octons that are gonna be messing around against us. So the good thing about having this weapon is that if we know in which spots of the Octons are gonna spawn, we can get prepared and shoot really quick in order to defeat him so quick, as we have seen with the Octon that I have gotten in a previous section of this stage. So here, this guy was the one who was helping the key that we need to release the scorpion path, so we can move to the next section. And now we're gonna start to see all of this interesting stuff over here. And again, more enemies. And guess who's advantage? So I'm gonna keep quiet because it's supposed that I need to try to be focused here. But the real thing is that I don't know what to say, and probably there are some people in the chat who are saying, "Oh, finally this guy is gonna keep quiet for a little bit because I cannot, I cannot keep listening to him because he's not saying anything. He's not mentioning anything interesting for the run." But don't worry. Believe me that I'm still having a lot of things to say, but sometimes I need to get a little break and try to focus on the game, or at least try to make that some people think that I'm getting focused on the run, when the real thing here is that I'm just playing on a YOLO mode without caring about what is gonna happen. So here once I move to the 6th spot, to Octons are gonna spawn, so from the two that we're gonna have, I have defeated really quick the one that was on the top, and the reason behind this is because that's the most problematic for me. Oh, this is bad, something tells me that I'm gonna die. Okay. Saved by the bell. Oh, not really. But we have here the key that we needed to move here, and we can unlock the next rail that is gonna move to us to the last section of the stage, and with this we can save another sapfish. I just throw the bomb, and I failed my aiming. Well, I failed my aiming with the bomb, so I decided just to shoot normally and release the sapfish. And now it's time to have a little flashback from the first game, because the next boss is the Mighty Octostomp, and this was a boss that was featured in the first game. Oh heck, I don't like where this is going. There we go, first try, because believe me, for me, this is something really hard. Sometimes I used to miss this, and I need to give it a try again, moving on the rail. in order to reach these spots. So the Mighty Octostomp is not the same like on the first game. His cycles changes, and now here we start with interesting things with the bosses. So sing hallelujah, because now we have some things to mention about this. So on this first, well, we're gonna be using the duelists, which is really good for this stage. This makes this boss fight really quick. So what's gonna happen on this first cycle is that obviously the Octostomp is gonna try to reach us and we're gonna try to stomp over us, but we just can't skip it. And we paint its sides and we go into the top, and then we shoot to the tentacle. So now, what are we gonna be having here? Oh, no, this isn't good. Is that now he's gonna be using this kind of shield, so I need to shoot in the middle of his face in order to destroy this thing. And with this, I just can simply go and try to. Well, with this, I just can avoid all of this, and directly I can. Well, I can make that he doesn't have any additional shield, because with that I cannot make damage to him. So that's not something good. And once I quit its protection, he's gonna act like on the first phase. So this is something good about this boss, that is not like a big problem defeating it. And also something good is when you have the duelist and you press the B button, which is the button you use to jump, you can roll like this. You roll really quick and you can be a bit safer, or you can move a bit faster depending on the situation where you are using this. And this was a bit slow, and I was a bit slow trying to do the protection to this guy. So again, I just shoot and I move quick. He's gonna stomp on the floor, I can paint its sides, I jump on the ink, I shoot to the tentacle, and third boss defeated. And so here, I'm not gonna have so much things to say, unless I reach some specific points on the next world. So if the announcer has something to say, this is a very good moment to talk about. Otherwise, something I'm gonna be explaining here is that on the when we have defeated the second boss, we got some text dialogues that show to us that probably somebody was trying to talk on the private Inkling connection, like somebody was somebody else that wasn't recognized was trying to. How suppose that I say this word in English? Well, somebody was trying to intercept our signal with our communication, and well, it's supposed that up to this point we don't know who is trying to intercept the signal and trying to get introduced her, but the only thing that we know is that it's telling to us that we need to keep away from here. And now, since I have defeated this third boss, now Mary tells to us the truth. And she tells that the real reason about why does she called for her help, it wasn't mainly to rescue the big sapfish, but what happened is that her cousin Callie, the other squid sister, has disappeared. And when we start the game, Pearl and Marina tells to us that Callie has disappeared and nobody knows where she is. And Mari was saying that she wanted mostly our help because she wanna rescue her. But if we consider that we have played the first game, there's after she tells to us her reason about why does she wanted our help, then she surprised on a surprising mode tells to us that oh, do you know that? Okay, I'm sorry about it, and the game keeps going. So up to this point, officially, we can confirm that we're not gonna just save the great sapfish, but also we need to see what happened with Collie, with the other squid sister that has disappeared. That up to this point, we don't know where she is. Something good is about the franchise in general, and I say the franchise because I'm gonna talk again about the first game, is that, well, since the first game, there was something called Splatfest, and these were some events that were made during some weekends with some topics. So everybody decided, depending on the topic, pick a team, and they play in online mode, and well, you can unlock some special stuff, blah blah blah. So the last Splatfest for the first game was a war between Kali and Mori, and obviously Mori win. I feel proud about her because she's the best Squid Sister, and I voted for her that last Splatfest, and I'm really proud that we have won. And thanks to that, the history mode from this second game was set up because we have seen here that Mari is helping to us in our adventure, but Kali is not here, so we need to find her. Talking about the real lifetime, the first game was released in 2015 and the second in 2017, so we have a 2 years time gap between both of the games. So when we get the scrolls on the hero mode in order to know the history of what happened between both of these games, okay, I was so close to dying there. I'm so happy that I haven't died. I don't know how I've survived, to be honest. On the scrolls, you get the story of, between. Well, you get the story of, between these 2 years. You know what happened between Splatoon 1 finished and you start with Splatoon 2. Because also, I have mentioned that here we play as the Agent 4 instead of the Agent 3, which was the character from the first game. And also, when we start the game and Marty starts to talk with us and tell that she's Mary from the Squid Sister and she makes the Squid Sister pose, it's supposed that our Inkling doesn't know who is she. And the reason about this is because the Inklings that we have on this second game are 2 years younger than the Inklings that we have seen on the first title. So since now the Squid Sisters are not idols anymore, well, they not sing again, they took different separate ways. That's something that's told on the scrolls. And now the new idols of the moment are Pearl Marina. Also the scrolls tells to us the history between these girls, but mostly about how do they become idols and that kind of things. A deeper history gets unlocked. Well, you can know better the history between Pearl and Marina and the expansion, because they instead of having Pearl and Marine, instead of having Kali and Mario or something like that on that expansion, now Pearl and Marina take the protagonism on the Oku expansion. And thanks to that, we know why the Marina, being an Octoling, it's living on the Inkling world, on the Inklings world. When you suppose the Inklings and Octolings are enemies, and also we know the reason why Marina is the first, or at least the only recognized bilingual Octoling for now, because I believe she can speak the language from the Octolings and she can speak the language of the Inklings. So here I'm gonna take a little break because I have been talking a lot. Mostly nonsense things, but you get the idea. And I'm close to the end of the stage. So on this stage I just need to deal with these rolling balls, as we have seen. Nothing so much to say. So here we have like a 30 seconds window, 30 seconds gap. So if the announcer has something to say, if the host has something to say, this is a very good moment to do that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep quiet. I'm gonna try to focus. So again, another of my less favorite stages is stage 18, where we're gonna be playing again with the sniper. And again, I keep saying that the problem with these stages using this weapon is that the stage is so slow. Also, and I have said that depending of the weapon that you have is the stage that well, depending on the stage is the weapon you're gonna be forced to use. But sometimes there are some stuff in some stages that you can do just with some specific weapons, mostly in these sniper stages. So also if you choose a different weapon, some stuff is gonna change. This is pretty curious because the game has also an IL speedrunning mode, and each time that you repeat a stage that you have completed, where you have saved the sapfish, you have an in-game timer. So with this you can track more easily your IL runs, and sometimes with the IL runs, a different weapon than the usual uses to be better to complete on a quicker way the stage. Also, something else that I don't like about this stage is that this has an auto-scroller section, which is really boring, but at the same time I cannot keep it quiet. I need to keep constantly moving and defeating the enemies. So this is the auto-scroller section I was talking about. This is gonna take like 1 minute. So again, nothing so much to say. Let's just try to avoid the enemies and you're gonna be fine. There's a shield here that I'm gonna catch. Also, if I die, I can lose like a minute again because this is so slow. And this is the big pain in your deep section when the lag of the zone can't reach easily. And it doesn't matter that I have received damage, I was having a shield. If I tell to you that on my PB I have died here because I have jumped earlier, and thanks to this I have lost a minute, will you believe in my words? And personally talking about how I am on speedrunning, this is something I don't like because mostly on these games, when I have this kind of mistakes, that means that I'm gonna be having more and more and more of them. So this is another Octolink stage, but it's more, believe me, it's more easier, a little bit more easier to complete if you are using the sniper. Bro, this is the only stage where the sniper it's a bit faster, and I have died. Nice. Is there a shield here? No, there's not. Okay, but the shield appears here again. The good thing about this is that if you die, you shouldn't be so worried about the sapfishes because the game saves the sapfishes that you have rescued, so you shouldn't get worried about. Something bad about this stage is that, as you have seen, there's a lot of octo shooters and octolinks, so I'm gonna try to get as much shields as I can to be more safe. because it's gonna be more faster instead of just trying to defeat each of them or some of them in order to avoid them just going faster. Also, if I finish a stage with a shield or with a special weapon, I'm gonna gain some additional X, but that is a bit pointless in this game because I just get it doesn't matter how many shields protections I have, I just receive 10 eggs plus another 10 from the special weapons. So if I can survive and I don't lose, and I can finish this stage with at least one shield, I'm gonna get 10 extra eggs. So for something I'm gonna be needing later on the run, I need to have at least 200 and 1200 eggs. That's gonna be something mostly closer to the end of the run. I shouldn't be so worried to get them. I need to be quick. And sorry, it's my mistake. I need 800, not 1200. I said 1200 because usually that's the amount of eggs that I used to get when I'm gonna use them to get an upgrade I'm gonna be needing later on the run. Because you can get upgrades for your weapons, but that's pointless for now. I'm just gonna upgrade a weapon, but that's gonna be before I face the last boss, because if I don't upgrade the weapon I'm gonna be using on the last boss, that boss fight's gonna take like 20 minutes. So with a little upgrade, it's gonna take 10. But don't worry, it's not so painful like it sounds. It's a pretty chill boss fight, but we need to wait a bit. I'm gonna be a bit safe and I'm gonna wait here until my... Okay, nice way to be trolled. I wasn't expecting that, and I think that this is the first time that I decided to wait a little bit in order to make that my shield gets fixed. So here in this stage also we got a new weapon that it's a kind of mix between weapon and an umbrella, because we can use this as a shield if I keep pressing the shooting button, and after some seconds that's gonna start to move and it's gonna make something similar to the... Where I need to move? Okay, I need to go... Where I need to go? It's gonna start to move like the curling bombs, but it's better to throw the curling bombs instead of waiting for the full cycle when the umbrella gets released. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. So here also something good with the bombs is that I can use them on a distance, for example, to activate some stuff like that I need to make that it moves. Well, some stuff that moves the floor that I need to activate, obviously. Okay, this is bad. I have received damage, but I'm gonna try to keep safe here, and I'm gonna try to zigzag slowly. It doesn't matter that I have died because here I have got the 2 keys that I need. And after this I just make a little jump here to avoid this thing, and this is the first time that I make a jump like that. What the heck is happening with me, definitely. I'm not being my usual myself when I run this game right now. So now we're gonna start to have some interesting stuff to do. The bombs on a little bit. For example here, that if I keep on this spot and I wait for the cycle to finish and I throw a curling bomb, I don't need to go to them. deeper on that section in order to move start to move the platform. I just can wait until the bomb explodes and it makes it work. And again, the suck to shooters doesn't want to cooperate with the calls. And another problem that I have when I receive damage is that my movement is slower, and also that means that I cannot reach some specific distances, so I decided to wait in order that my shield gets fixed here, so I was able to do that jump. I do another shootings here. Okay, this is bad. And with this, the stage 20 has been completed. Probably you can remember that on the second world I have made a meme commentary about the roller, and also have mentioned another weapon, which is the blaster. That definitely the blaster is considered as the most broken weapon since the first game. Mostly because it makes a ridiculous amount of damage. But also it's a slower weapon when you shoot, so in some way that compensates it a bit, but it doesn't quit the fact that it's broken. And we're gonna watch the blaster on this, which is stage 19, the last stage of this fourth world, and then we're gonna be moving to the last world of the game, where the real nightmare is gonna begin. So here in this section looks like a shorter stage because there are gonna be 3 warping pads, but I need to activate 3 switches in order to move to another warping pad that is gonna move me to another further section of the game. So it doesn't matter on these cases. It doesn't matter in these cases which warping pad you get on this stage. All of them are gonna be the same, and here this is what I have said with the distraction about throwing a bomb, and with this the enemy is gonna ignore it's gonna ignore us, so so here I just needed to complete all of this section. I'm gonna activate 2 switches, and okay, this is bad. I'm gonna keep here to be a little safe. And again, I have received damage, and I have died. Okay, mental note: don't take so many risks. But I know that I'm gonna ignore that mental note on a bit. This shooter specifically, it's a little nightmare for me, but it doesn't matter. I haven't made that it fall down, but at which cost? And again, I have died. Okay, this is bad because now I just have 1 life, and unless I reach the next checkpoint, I'm gonna be safe. So I'm gonna try to keep a bit safe here. Okay, that guy is gonna fall down on a bit. Shouldn't be so worried about this. Okay. I'm gonna be playing a bit safely because I wanna refill my life counter. Because I'm so close to die, and if I die, what is gonna happen is that I am gonna be taken out of the stage, and I need to enter to this and start from the beginning. Also, I can press, if I'm quick, I can press the start button and reset the stage, but also that's not gonna make me lose so much time comparing this with getting out of the stage and then re-entering to it. But at the same time, it makes that I keep losing life. Well, it makes that I keep losing time. Sorry, I'm forgetting words again. So here I have refilled my life because as I've said before, the checkpoints help you a bit. And I got a bit trolled here, sometimes trying to shoot to this fishing things that I forgot the name on English. If somebody can tell me the name on the chat, I'm gonna be really happy. And again, I have failed this thing. So, really focus mode activated. Somebody give me a Pepsi, please. There we go. So I just need to go for this last warping pad. And with this, well, this is the most slowest section of the game. Because here on this last pad, what we need to do is that we need to shoot some switches that are gonna activate another moving platforms in the game. Okay, I failed to do something I was trying to do. Okay, I need to be careful with these enemies because these guys are troll. Can make that I can fall down here, so I decide what I instead of doing this on a YOLO mode like I used to do, I preferred to wait until a moment where this enemy says shoot, so I can move around the stage. Now this cube is gonna start to rotate on itself, so I just need to wait until this switch appears so I can shoot to it, and that's gonna trigger the next section where I'm gonna be moving. I jump here because the platform is gonna spawn here. So after it spawns, I can keep moving normally. Or trying to move more normally. So now that I have got all the 3 keys, something interesting this is something interesting I'm gonna be showing, because it's supposed that you need to defeat that enemy in order to activate the switch that it's on the floor. That is well, this enemy is over this switch. But if I throw a bomb, I just can avoid the necessity of defeating that enemy, and I can save some time. I keep him alive. I keep it alive. And that can be something a bit risky, but it's not a big deal to avoid this guy. And now, last and probably most painful section of the game, because again, these enemies that cleans our ink, and we're gonna have 3 of them. And now to this, have in mind that we're gonna be having enemies that are gonna be throwing their own ink. So trying to coordinate these enemies is not an easy task. So I used to throw some bombs, because with this they can detect that a bomb has been thrown. And believe it or not, this okay, we got a very good moment, because with this I have saved a little amount of time comparing this with my usual. Because usually on this stage, this is the section where I used to waste a huge amount of time, and I was just really quick here. So I'm pretty happy with this, because in some way this compensates a bit. Some of the mistakes that I have gotten during this stage. So I'm really happy about that. Not gonna lie. So now it's time to move to against the Octo Shower, which is the 4th boss on the game. We're getting close to the end of the game. We're gonna be closer to the last section of it. So here, there's something interesting with the resetting stuff, because as I have said on the first boss fight, once I land on the floor, I reset the stage so I can skip the first cutscene. But something really interesting happens here, but I'm gonna be explaining this on a little bit. Because this is something really good, because it's supposed that if we do this setup, we can skip the first cutscene, that it takes a good amount of time. so that makes that resetting the stage gets really quick. It's supposed that in speedrunning, the resetting is the usual speedrunner enemy, and oh, this is bad! I don't know why I have been failing this a lot last days. This is not it's not supposed that I waste time on this first cycle like this. But what I need to do is that I need to defeat these flying enemies, and then the tentacle of the Octo Shower is gonna be shown, and I just need to do big. I need to make 2 big shootings and against the tentacle, and we're gonna move to the next phase of the boss. Some more flying enemies are gonna come, but each of them are different on these phases. And also the way that the Octo Shower is gonna attack to us is different. So here I'm gonna move to this spot, otherwise I'm gonna be showered on the ink rain. One, two, no! What is happening with me? This is not supposed that it was gonna happen, but again, comparing this with my PB, I have a 15 minutes window, just in case that this kind of mistakes happen, so we're still being safe, we shouldn't be so worried about this. So now this is an interesting thing. As you have noticed, I have skipped the third cutscene. Exactly, we don't know why this happens, but this is the only boss where this thing just happens. Just on this fourth boss, you can skip the third and last cutscene. Probably the developers forgot to add a line code to prevent that. But well, the game had received a lot of updates, but looks like Nintendo just get focused on the online mode instead of the history mode, because who's gonna care on a history mode on a game which is mostly focused on the online mode? And with this, we have defeated the fourth boss, and now it's time to move to the very last world of the game. So don't worry, we're closing that I can finish with this awful commentary, so you can make like your ears take a little break. So don't worry, this awful commentary is gonna stop in like, I don't know, 30-40 minutes? So I hope that you have put attention to the dialogue text boxes here. Mostly to the first one, because besides the fact that this is probably in a language that not so many people that are, well, not all the people that are watching this marathon can understand, probably you have noticed that the text box was upside down. This is a little gag with the first game, because after that text box was upside down, Mari told to that creepy and unknown person that that they has their communicator upside down, and then the exchange person said, "Oh, okay, you're right," and then Mari says, "Cully, is that you?" And we get a reply that says, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not Cully." But obviously, she's Cully. Why I say that this is a reference for the first game? Because I have to say, on first game, spoiler alert, Kali from the Squid Sisters is the Agent 1 and Mart is the Agent 2, and I don't remember exactly which world was, but once you completed a boss fight, once you defeat a boss and you get that kind of cutscenes, there's a cutscene where Kali talks to us with her communicator upside down, so the dialogue text box appears upside down. So this is a reference. Well, this is a double reference. The first reference is obviously for the first game, and the second that's telling to us that the person who is intercepting our signal to communicate with us and telling to us that we need to get the heck out of here, it's Scully. So now looks like we know where the Scully is, but now the question here is, what does she is doing right now, and does she is with the bad guys? That's something that we're not gonna know for now, and I have died. Nice. Oh heck. And now, more shooting sections with a lot of enemies. Something good about this stage is that we're gonna be having a lot of weapons, a lot of additional weapons, a lot of also a lot of these things. How this is called? Okay, my mistake. I received damage here, but it doesn't matter. Checkpoint. We're gonna have a lot of weapons, a lot of well, not a lot of special weapons between bombs and secret and powerful weapons that are gonna help to us to defeat this stage as well. We're gonna have these big balloons that if we shoot to these things, we just can simply skip this. Or also we just can defeat the enemies really quick and we shouldn't get so worried about this. But at least, hey, we are close to the end of the game. We probably know where the Scully is, and also we're getting so close to rescue not just the grape sapfish, but also the other little sapfishes. So also something good about this is that if you've seen this X, and this is a signal where that means that, well, it is a little hint that the game's giving to you about what do you need to do, that you need to jump in some specific ports, and I have fallen down here. I don't know why, I was moving my stick to the position where that rail was, so I don't know what happened there. Because this is something good about the game, that sometimes it gives you some little hints about where do you need to move or what do you need to do. It's not like on other games that specifically tells you what do you need to do. So you need to put so much attention, mostly when you're playing this casually, to unlock some stuff such as the Sardiniums and also the scrolls. And now last section of the game. And again, we have seen these little eggs that are telling to us where it is supposed that we needed to move. It doesn't matter if we should have taken another rail. The results were gonna be the same, but with the difference that I was gonna lose some time. So now, once I have beaten this stage 23, where I have used the sniper to find this stage, what I'm gonna be doing here is that we're gonna look for the stage 22, and we're gonna see another weapon. Yes, believe it or not, there's more weapons that we haven't seen on the game. So, also this is gonna be the last weapon that we're gonna be watching, and this is the only stage where we're gonna use this weapon. So the stage is hiding somewhere like there. So what I need to do is that, as you have seen, like on the stage where we have got the weapon that looks like, that has a kind of umbrella. What's gonna happen here is that this stage, everything is hidden, so we need to throw some ink in order to discover the platforms and all the places where we can move. And I'm gonna die. Okay, I haven't died. I'm surprised. Okay. So now we have the brush, and this is a pretty cool weapon because it's like a kind of lost brother of the roller, with the difference that this makes that we can go faster. But this has an upside down. It's good because it can make to us that we can. Well, this helps to us to move faster, but at the same time, it wastes a huge amount of ink. So the problem with this weapon is that you need to have you need to take some time to refill your ink, and also to consider where it's better to use it, to don't waste it, and with that obviously to don't lose time. And also probably this is one of the most difficult weapons to dominate on the game, mostly due to that. So it's not so common to watch people using this weapon. It's not common to see people using this weapon. But it also has its fan base, and believe me, this requires a good amount of practice to dominate. Even I have problems to use it. But since I just use it on my runs, I don't care so much about that. Because in online mode I play with some regular shooters or with dualies. So probably thanks to that you're gonna notice that I can move better on stages where you use a dualie. I wanna make this guy games back. I'm gonna get here, throw a bomb here, it's gonna... Son of a... Okay, this guy hasn't moved. Okay, it doesn't matter, I make that he came back here, so the good point is that if this enemy comes back to this position, the enemy is not gonna move to any other section, which is something really good. Get wrecked, thank you. Going down. And guess what? More annoying enemies. But here's something different is gonna be what I'm gonna be doing. Mostly this guy with the shield is the most annoying from all of them. So what I'm gonna try to do is that I'm gonna try to destroy its shield, and since I have some additional shields, I shouldn't be so worried about this, but I have catch the special weapon anyways, which is supposed that you need to use this to defeat the enemies. Because you're gonna notice this takes a huge amount of time to complete. Okay, its shield went down, so you just can attack this guy in front of it, and there we go. I'm moving slower, and also it's not good that when I receive damage I get the shields, because that's just gonna help to me to make that my gear gets fixed. But in this case that was something that I really needed. And again, the last section of the game, we need to keep painting again. But in this case, what I need to do is that I need to make that these enemies that again cleans all the ink that finds on their way. These guys came to my position, so I can guide them in order to reach the end of the stage. But again, this thing is these enemies are not cooperating a lot. Probably the most annoying enemies for me are these ones. That it's supposed that I need to use my ink in order to make it they move to the platforms that I want to reach. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this brush, because this is gonna be the last stage we're gonna watch this. So here on our checkpoint, and what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna switch weapons again, but I'm just gonna do this to unlock the stage, because on this stage we're gonna play with the roller. Oh, I just switched my whip. So... Okay, I don't know what am I forgetting what I need to do even when I have played this a good amount of times and I have died on a very dumb way. Probably this is the first time or the second where I have died like that. Definitely this run is not going perfect, but it's still being good. And now the platform is gonna come down. So here again, some action with the roller, but definitely from this world, this is my worst stage because again we need to deal with this bowling, octoling balls. And the problem of these things is that obviously their movement is slower and they use a huge amount of space on our way to move on the stage. So this can make sometimes moving here can be a complicated task. And also, what I need to do here is that I'm gonna try to play as safely as I can, because I have got a special weapon at the beginning of the stage, which is the cloud, that basically is gonna make that some ink starts to rain. And I'm gonna need that on the last section of the game in order to activate some moving platforms, and I can skip some of these bowling balls. I can move a bit quicker. So if I die here, this is gonna be bad because obviously when you get these special weapons and you don't use them, when you die and you respawn, you don't get them again. And since this just appears at the beginning of the stage, obviously this is not gonna be something good. So I push the platform a little bit here. And this helped me to move here. Now this is the moment where I'm gonna use this to keep moving this last platform. And I can move here. And there we go. To be honest, I am really surprised about how I have moved here. I really feel that from the recent the runs that I have been making. On this stage, everything has been fairly decent, so I'm pretty happy about this. So now stage 25. And I was saying that casually talking, probably this can be a real nightmare for casual players, including myself. Because when I really like a game and I wanna try to unlock some stuff, I try to avoid guides and all that kind of things. So I was like that, but once I reached this last world, I just haven't unlocked like 3 worlds, well, like 2 or 3 stages. So I wasn't able to complete the game. And trying to look for them, I never found them, and that really pissed me off. So at the end, I used a guide to know where the rest of the stages were. And I feel bad with myself because I was planning to don't use any guide, and at the end I have used them. So the stage 25 is here. And again, it's time to use the heavy splatting. Throwing bombs. And probably this is gonna be the nightmare from this section, because there's gonna be a lot of enemies here, and also some of them are gonna spawn here, because I need to get a key and I need to go back, and I have received damage, and if I die I'm gonna go back to the last checkpoint. But usually this is something that also happens on my runs, so it doesn't matter. So I try to use the curling bombs as additional platforms. It doesn't matter so much that I have received damage here, because I just can move quickly here and I am safe. Safe here. So again, Raining Cloud, the only one that I'm gonna be having well, you have seen how I have used a cloud on the previous stage, so I'm gonna do something similar at the end, so less RNG, in order that I can do that. So once I reach these sections, once I escape I moved in these moving platforms, I need to activate these two switches, and again I need to defeat all of these enemies, and I can spawn another warping pad that is gonna move to me to another section in the game. Again, I'm just gonna keep quiet, and there's not so much things to say here until I reach the end of the stage. It's gonna happen in like 30 seconds maybe. And there we go, we got it! Because again, we're gonna be shooting to these things in order to make that this platform moves, but this is not gonna be the moment where I'm gonna be using this. I'm gonna be using the... Oh no, I have died, forget about that. I haven't noticed, but well. It's supposed that later on the stage where I was gonna have another switch like this, that this is specifically this one, so here's... Oh no, I haven't! I thought that I have died. I don't know why I thought I have died. Just gonna put on a specific position, I'm gonna throw it, and now the ink is gonna rain on this thing, so it's gonna start to move by itself, so I need to get so worried about this. What happened here that I got distracted and obviously I haven't died? Well, usually this is not something that I used to get. I used to fail this a lot. So if I have survived, this was a pretty good signal. I thought for a moment that I haven't made it. So I'm really surprised about that. This is really good because in my runs and even in most of my reset lists, I used to fail this. I used to die due to something, well, due to a human mistake when I'm playing, so I'm pretty happy that this wasn't the case. So I just need to reach this pink moving platform, and we're gonna have some flashbacks with the second world, because again I'm gonna unlock 2 stages and I'm gonna die. Nice aiming, I should say, because we're gonna have these moving platforms and I just need to aim correctly to land on it. And here I'm gonna unlock stages 24 and 27, which are the only ones that I haven't played yet. So one of the stages is this one, and the other one is on this other platform. So once I open stage 27, I came back here to stage 24 when I'm gonna use the bucket. And the other stage is an upcalling stage, just in case you haven't wondered about it. And that's another stage where I'm not forced to use any weapon. But again, I'm gonna keep the bucket. Because in that stage, I give it a try with the dualies, and I was really surprised that the bucket was really good on that stage. Don't worry. Once I finish this run, we're gonna go into the intermission, and then I'm gonna be able to switch games because I'm also the Bomberman runner. So the patience is the key for the success, my friends. Remember all the time that words, and believe me, you're gonna have a good amount of good things, and you're gonna have a good progress in your lives. And also with this, I just need to complete this stage, another one, and then a boss fight. But I will recommend that you came back in like 15 minutes, because this is gonna take like 5 minutes, and then the boss fight takes 10 minutes, so I don't think that you wanna watch this, because something tells me that you don't wanna watch it, but I really appreciate for the people who has donated for the incentive of this run, and also I hope that you are enjoying this run. If you're not enjoying it, I'm really sorry, but I don't know what else I can do, and honestly, I don't care. So now, on a previous stage, I have showed you that you don't need to defeat some enemies, and you need to throw some bombs. You can throw just some bombs in order to activate some switches. Well, we're gonna have something similar, but instead of an enemy, it's a box, because there are some boxes that are covered on plastic bags, and destroying that boxes takes a huge amount of time. So in a little bit, we're gonna be watching that, and I'm gonna be using a bomb to activate the switch without needing to destroy the boxes. No! Okay, I was aware of this. This is not a so common mistake, but that's something that uses to happen to me mostly in resetless runs. It doesn't happen so much to me, but my problem here is that I have moved slow. It's supposed that I should have swim on the ink, and then I should have jump as an squid, but I forgot to do that, so I have died. So this is the switch that I was talking about. I just switched to the regular bomb, and if I put a bomb here, once it explodes, it's gonna activate the switch down the box. And also, I will try to don't destroy the box, because that's gonna help me a little bit as a platform to catch the key that I'm gonna get once I activate all of the switches. I throw a bomb to activate the switch that is on the top, and there's just another switch that I haven't activated here. There's another one on the other side. I need to put here. I throw the ink here, and there we go. There's the key. So now what I'm gonna be doing is, once this thing goes up, I'm gonna do this more safer. I don't want to repeat this again, so I'm just gonna move here. I'm gonna wait until my gear gets fixed. So this was the case. I go up on this platform, and once the platform goes down, I need to jump really quick. So I'm gonna keep on the air, and I can reach this key in a very easy way, instead of going up again where the enemies are and try to jump to reach that thing. And again, I throw the curling bomb, I destroy this protection, I can get the sapfish, and now it's time to go back again to the first world, because as I have said, I was gonna level up a weapon, and the weapon I'm gonna be leveling up is the hero shot, the default weapon. Because on the boss fight we are forced to use it. And if I don't do this, the boss fight is gonna take like 20 minutes, between 20 to 25 minutes, probably more. But if I level up, it's just gonna take 10 minutes. But also, as I've said, don't worry, it's not a painful boss battle. That's something good. It's not painful, but it's a bit RNG based. Because there are a lot of different possible cycles that you can get. Probably the problematic section and the speedrun on this category on this last world is this stage, because we just have this aggressive Octolinks, and believe me, this is a real nightmare. So I'm gonna try to catch as most shields as I can, and I'm gonna switch bombs because the curling bombs are useless on this stage. I mean, you can break the protections to save the mini sapfishes, but that makes you lose a huge amount of time. I suppose I have changed them, but looks like the game ignored my input. And also, I need to keep this box here so I can use it as a little ladder. There's another protection here, I think. No, there's not, and I'm gonna lose my shield. Okay, I have lost my shield. This is bad, but there's another one here, so I shouldn't be so worried about that. Okay, there's a special weapon that I'm gonna need to use. And guess what? I got distracted and I changed my usual site. Amazing. Also, sometimes if there's an Octolink close to the bolts where these mini sapfishes are, and I throw a bomb, I can defeat them. So sometimes that's gonna be something really useful. And that's something good about the Octolink, that sometimes that gets so close, they get so closer to this to the mini sapfishes. But what am I doing? This is the first part of the game, of the stage. I shouldn't go back here. Well, this was because I got distracted, but it doesn't matter because. And I got a scroll, nice! It's not supposed that I have got that. I'm gonna lose another couple of seconds, but it doesn't matter so much. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna PB with this because my PB is 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 21 seconds. But it doesn't matter, I'm gonna finish under my estimate. Surprisingly, I'm gonna finish under my estimate. But don't worry, I have got very worse resetless times on another marathon, so consider this as a good as a good run for a marathon and for my standards, so we fine. But at least the good thing about this is that the marathon is not gonna get ahead of time, it's gonna get behind. Yikes. Now I just need to save an additional sapfish, and we're gonna move to the last boss fight. I have received damage, but I don't care. Okay, hopefully I'm gonna finish under my estimate, or probably I'm just gonna be a bit behind for almost a minute. Because definitely the big problem that I have found on this run were with my first 2 worlds, mostly in the first world when I got, because there I have lost like 40 seconds due to some dumb human mistakes. But that mistakes weren't so bad at all. So it's still doing fine. So here on purpose I'm gonna die, because with this I'm gonna spawn at the middle of the world, and here I just need to wait for this one of these moving platforms, and then I can reach the boss fight. So get ready for a 10 minutes boss fight. And here the technique of resetting stages doesn't work. And guess what happened, guys? Guess what happened, ladies and gentlemen? Looks like we have found Callie, but definitely she's not like in her usual status. So what is happening here is that we have seen that Callie from the Squid Sisters now is a bad girl, but not because she wanted to be a bad girl. DJ Octavius, which again is the main villain on this game, like in the first title, gives to Callie these hypnotic glasses. And that was a little spoiler because this is the precise moment where Octavius told to us that he washed the Kali's brain. And now Kali doesn't remember anything from her past, so that's the reason why she is with Octavius. So the way that I'm gonna be defeating this boss that has 4 paces instead of 3 like the other bosses is that I need to put attention to its fists. If the letters of its fist turns into a pink color, okay, this is bad. I'm gonna explain why in a bit. Turns into a pink color. That's a signal that I can shoot to that fist and I can hit this guy back. It's so bad. But if the fist starts to spin, I need to avoid it because I cannot attack him with this. So I'm gonna try to don't receive damage because okay, forget what I have said. Because this sometimes, or at least I wanna feel it like that, changes some cycles. Because I have noticed that when I receive damage, some cycles changes. So I wanna try to defeat this guy as fast as I can, so I need to hit him 8 times. Then he's gonna fall down and I can start to ink him. So now that he's down, I just need to ink him, and this is the first pace. And again, Marty's trying to make that Kylie reacts to her and remember who she is. But looks like this is not working, definitely. So what else can we do? We just need to keep fighting while we wait until Maddie comes to help to us, because she's saying that she's gonna come on a bit. She went for some help and some stuff to defeat Octavius. And again, I need to skip the bombs that Octavius is gonna be throwing, not just the spinning fists. Going up. Now it's time to shoot these takoyakis that are gonna be some kind of ink walls or ink rolls that are not gonna let me to move normally on the stage. So I'm just gonna be shooting just some of them. I don't need to destroy all of them because that's a bit impossible. I just need to destroy some specific of them in order to be able to keep moving on the stage. So also what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to be as much closer as I can to Octavius, because once he makes his attacks with his fists, I can I can reduce some time because I don't need to wait until the fist reaches a longer distance if I get close to him. At the same time, just keep playing risky. There's no doubts about this. And now Octavius went down. Shoot him, and now it's time to move to the third phase. And guess what? Now Mary has came to help to us. And now it looks like Octavius, the DJ Octavius, is a bigger problem because Mary shooted to Collie in order to throw out the hypnotizing glasses, but she's not gonna recover his mind or his brain on a bit. Yeah, this is gonna take some time, so for now we just need to defeat this third phase with Octavio. Definitely the pace that you don't want to get here are the spinning fists for obvious reasons. But yeah, basically what are we gonna be doing is the same. The only difference here is that now Octavius gonna throw the two kind of bombs. That's the only difference. And that sometimes he's gonna be moving up and down. So we need to be so careful and we need to time correctly our movements in order to be on a very good position to avoid any kind of attack. Wake up, Kelly! Looks like she's not replying. And also, if you were wondering what does Mary is doing, also she started to sing, so she's attacking with music also. So if you were wondering, also she's helping because she thinks that if she sings, probably Kali is gonna remember who is she, and we can save her. Okay, for a moment I wasn't aware about where the Octavio was. Now it hits, Octavio went down, and it's time to move to the very last pace. And okay, definitely I'm gonna run out of the estimate, so I'm sorry about that, but it's gonna be just for like 1 minute. Looks like Mary is like Kali is remembering who is she. Ladies and gentlemen, and any kind of living form in the earth, the Squid Sisters are back, and now we're gonna have this modified version of the Rainmaker for the last phase of the boss. And there's a history that I really like to talk about every time that I run this on a marathon and I reach this point. When I was playing this game casually, and just in case that I haven't mentioned it when I was running this, I'm a big fan from the Squid Sisters. I really loved them on the first game, and I'm a really big fan of Mary, so I was really happy to see her again on the history mode of this game. So when the girls started to sing again and they started to sing a remix of Calamari Incarnation, I really started to scream like a fangirl. I screamed so loud that my family got word about me, so they run to my room to see if something happened to me. And when they arrived to my room, they asked me, "What happened, son?" And I was screaming and pointing to my TV, saying, "The Squid Sisters are back! The Squid Sisters are back!" Obviously, my mother got so angry with me because she thought that something bad happened with me. But obviously, this was a moment, a very special moment for me on this game. Because usually I'm not a big fan for modern games because I feel that that the games don't have the same touch as some older games, but definitely Splatoon 2 is a big exception. It's a really cool game that I really recommend for many people. So I just need to hit again Octavio against its fists, but I just need to avoid damage here, and I need to keep on this outside rail because if I'm on the inside one, it's gonna be everything's gonna be more harder. So the time is gonna finish on a bit. Onside put the Rainmaker over Octavio, so be ready for the time. That's gonna be coming up in a bit. And time. And yeah, that was a very funny moment for me. My mother got so mad with me, but I was really excited because, as I have said also, thanks to this game is why I decided to buy a Switch. And I was for almost 1.5 years without buying any additional game. Obviously, when I got my console, I also got Super Woman R and Mario Odyssey, but I completed those games and I never played them again. so I just was playing Splatoon 2, and that was the only game that I was playing on my console. So now we're gonna get now to the last section of the game, where again, Pearl and Marina are gonna talk about some notices. Then we're gonna talk about the stages for the online mode, but now they changed the news and talk about a new, well, a new that has happened, and now the great sapfish has appeared again, and that's not the only new that they have to tell to us, because now they have said that Kali is back, that now Kali has appeared. But just in case that you were wondering, you don't get any recognized. Your character doesn't get any recognized for rescuing both Kali and the Great Sapfish, so you are a kind of anonymous hero. And this is the end of Splatoon 2. So I'm gonna be really quick because we are a bit out of time, because unfortunately I have run out of the estimate due to some mistakes that I got mostly on the first two worlds. First of all, thanks to the Valuethon staff for giving me the opportunity to showcasing this game. Talking about modern games, this is a game that has a big sentimental value for me, and probably the history that I have told you about what happened when I played this casual and I reached the last phase from the last boss can be a good example about what I'm talking about. And I really hope that you have enjoyed this run. And this is not gonna be the end for me, because the next run is Super Momo 4 that I'm gonna be running, so I'm gonna make the last speech there. But for now, thanks for the staff for giving me the opportunity of showcasing this game, and I really hope that you have enjoyed this run. So keep tuning, because in some minutes I'm gonna be back. Well, in some moments I'm gonna be back with Super Momo 4, so I really hope that you have enjoyed this, and thanks for GG's. I really hope that my